Kristen here with the Sex Love Revolution, and I want to talk to you today on why I feel like being is a superpower that can supercharge your sex life. All right, so stick with me here. So I am a doer through and through. I've been doing and busy my whole life. But what I have learned and what I am continually learning, because this is probably going to be life's work, is that being is really where all the juiciness in life exists. And now I feel like in this day and age, it's really hard to step into our being because we're bombarded with so many messages about doing and going and getting shit done. Just think about the memes that are kind of out there that you see constantly about hustling or boss babing it, boss whatevering it, bossing the whole world around, like boss mama and boss, I don't know, so much bossing, and grinding, like grinding it out, rise and grind, and these types of messages. And everyone is sort of hustling around, like life is really busy nowadays. And so I think when we look at the spectrum of being versus doing, we're all kind of over here in the doing, and no one's really coming back into being anymore. It's not glamorized to slow down, to be, to flow, to receive, which are all traits and qualities of what is known as the feminine principle. But I don't want to buy into these gender norms. I want to be very inclusive. So I want to think about this instead of feminine and masculine traits. I want to think about it as like the being and doing traits, the going and flowing that exists within each of us. We all carry these parts of within, and they're both equally important. Doing is super important. We just need to balance it with the being from time to time, which a lot of us aren't doing. So what does being mean to you? So being to me is a state of surrender. It's a state of flow. It's a state of creativity. It's a state of relaxation. It's a state of receptivity. And that can be different for everyone, but there is a beingness that sort of exists that's universal. Now, why is this important for your sex life? Well, both partners in relationship, as I've said, or in partnership, carry these traits within. But for sexual attraction to exist, you need to think of it like a battery. So we have the positive and negative on a battery, and that plugs into the negative on one side and the positive on the other, and then boom, we have power. So think about that as like your sex life or your partnership. One of us needs to be in the doing mode, in the going mode, and one of us needs to be in the being mode, in the flowing mode, and boom, we have power. If we're both like doing, that's not gonna really like create a spark, right? And if we're both like being, flowing, again, that's not going to create a spark. We need that charge, that polarization of the being versus doing. And it's not that like the masculine partner in a relationship needs to be the doer and the feminine partner needs to be the being. It can be different in each. It's just as equally important for the more masculine side of us to be able to be as it is for the more feminine side of us to be able to flow. So this is why it's really important to be able to slow down and to enter into our being, especially in a world where we're really driven to do, to be outward. And it can be really hard to go against the grain, of course, because if you're like me, for me to slow down, there was a lot of messaging that I was carrying internally about, being lazy or, needing to have everything done before I could relax or receive. There's messages that you might be carrying too, and I would encourage you to journal in on this or to feel in on it. What does it take for you to feel safe to be or to feel comfortable to be, and why is that? That's something that you can get really curious about. Now, another reason why being is so important is because if we're always doing, we're probably up here in our head all the time and not in our body. So when we're being, when we're flowing, we're kind of more in our experience. We're more in the present moment, and we're more in our body. So we want to cultivate being in our everyday lives so that we can drop into our bodies. That's where the pleasure is. That's where the juiciness is. That's where the expansion is, the desire. That's where the desire lives. So we want to be more in our experience so that we can cultivate more desire, more juice, more flow in our lives. Now, how do we be more in our bodies? Well, some simple ways is to, drop down, breathe, slow down once a day and breathe. Breathe all the way from your head to your toes. Dance with yourself. That's a big one. Dance with your body once a day. Slow down. Go for a walk in nature and really engage all your senses. Look around. What do you see? What do you smell? What do you hear? What do you feel? What do you taste? And that's another way to get really into your being, into your body. So it's really important to cultivate this sense of being for your sex life because we need that polarization, we need that charge in our partnership to create that sexual attraction and desire. And we can't do that when we're both going. And that's why it's a superpower to supercharge your sex life. And then also when we're more in our experience, we're more in our body, and that's where the magic exists. That's where sex is going to really start to come alive. That's where you're going to really want to build that desire. I'll share about my own experience. So I, like I said, am a doer, and often I get stuck in this flow of like, I need to get, the things done and this and that. And my partner will come to me and maybe he'll start to stroke my body or kiss me slowly. And there's a part of me that just wants to go, to do. But then I remember my ability to receive and to flow. So I'll slow down and I'll let myself be present. Maybe I take a deep breath and I'll let myself be present with his kiss, or I'll let myself be present with his touch. And all of a sudden, where there was like resistance and like this feeling of needing to go and get shit done, it's like everything melts away, and underneath all that is this luscious desire, this want, this need, this urge when I receive, which also is a really important element of being. So how can you receive more in your life? And this can look like, if you're preparing for something and someone says, hey, can I give you a hand? Instead of saying, no, I got this, you say, actually, yes, thank you. I could use this. Could you please bring a potato salad to my kid's birthday party? Whatever the case might be. If you're trying to carry the groceries in from the car and your partner says to you, hey, let me help you with that. And you might want to say like, no, it's okay, I've got this. Say, oh, thank you. Actually, yes, I'll let you take these groceries. There's lots of ways that you can receive if you start to slow down and listen and people offer you support and help. Receive that help. Learn to receive. And that's another element that will help you be more in your being. So there you have it. I'm going to wrap this all up here. We want to be more in our experience to supercharge our sex lives. And I hope that you've got some good tips on how to do that. One, dancing with your body, breathing, going out in nature, and receiving from the people around you. And just being aware, getting curious, journaling a little bit on being. Why is it holding you back? And start to implement this in your life and see how it can supercharge your sex life and how it's a superpower to just keep you in the flow of having a rocking, awesome life. Mwah. All my best.